This is a tutorial on how to program your Xkeys. As you know, the Xkeys allows you to do a sequence of actions in your computer into a single keystroke. To do it, you just have to use the MacroWorks 3 software that runs the Xkeys, which is this icon in here. You can open MacroWorks also by pushing a button that is on the left side of the Xkeys near the cable, right, more or less in here. As you can see, MacroWorks 3 is very simple and very clean. In here you have the layout of the Xkeys. We did several buttons, and to start programming one, you just have to click on it. You can also push the physical button of the Xkeys to achieve this. Now, by clicking the button, in the middle panel appear my recording layout, which I will use to record the macro on this button. Now, I will start in here with the application field. The application field allows you to choose a target application in which this macro will work. So I will choose DKMX. And one thing about this, if the application that I want to target are not running at the moment that I save the macro, it won't appear on this pop-up menu. So beneath this you have the different modes in which you can record your macro. You can record the sequence of keystrokes. You can select to input a predefined text that you input in here. You can choose to open a file or a directory by your choice, or you can use one of the many functions provided by MacroWorks. You have some. You can, for instance, you can emulate double click on your mouse. You can open calculator, make a delay, and so on. Eventually, you can also use a mix of all of these functions. To this tutorial, I will use mainly the keystrokes. Now, by choosing the keystrokes, MacroWorks will automatically put this on record, meaning that any keystroke that I input in my keyboard, he will record it. This also happens when I choose the button to be recorded. By default, he will choose keystrokes and start recording. Okay, going back to the DCAM, what I want to do is to change my capture mode to double crop. I want also to change my crop template to double. And finally, I want to make a capture. And to do it, I just have to use the shortcut keys system in DKMX. So changing my capture mode to double, I will use the Ctrl+2. Changing my template to double, it will be Shift+F1, and making the capture will be Ctrl+F1. One thing about this Xkeys bar that became XS, it's like divided in two. In here, in the left side, you have the control assignments, meaning to do some of the actions on the left side, you must use the control plus F1, F2, and so on until F8. And these actions, they are not changeable, they are fixed. You can't do anything about it. It's like this. The right side, it's the crop template shortcuts, and you must use the shift key plus F1, F2, and so on until F8. One thing, you can assign one template of your choice in the template. and then you choose the crop template that you want, and choose just the Xkeys that you want to attribute, like the 9, which is the first one in the crop system, 10, whatever. One thing about this is that the DKMX doesn't really communicate with the Xkeys. It doesn't send any signal. What it does, it assigns a shortcut key combination to the crop template, so that you can then save a macro like I'm doing it to activate it. Now, going back to DKMX macroworks, I'm sorry, I will start doing the keystrokes input to be saved. So I will change my capture modes to double crop by Control plus 2. I will change then my crop template to Shift F1, and now I will use a function which will be the delay function. This function will insert a stop on my sequence, and I can choose the time in which he makes the stop. For instance, I can choose from 0 seconds to 1 second, and this is in milliseconds. I will choose for now the half second delay, and to return to my keystroke, I just have to do a keystroke selection, and I will use the Control plus F1 to activate my capture. Now, one thing about this, you can edit the entries that you have made here. You can clear the line, you can clear all of the macros that you recorded, or you can edit individually the block, each block that you inputted. But to edit each block, you must do a pause first, just to be reminding, because if you want, for instance, to delete this while recording, he will record the backspace and doesn't actually delete the Shift plus F1 block in this case. Okay, having done this, my macro is done, very easy as you see, and you just have to save it like this. By saving it, it will be signalized in here that it has something, and if you put the mouse over it, you can see what it has. You can also see it on the zoom view or in the list view in case of more complex codes. Actions. Now, to use the programmed key, you just have to close back the macroworks tree. You can do it by pushing back the button on the left side or doing this. And now let's see how it works. Just changing the crop. Okay, as you see, it did the 3 actions in one single action in more or less 1 second, which is very nice. Thank you for your time. See you next time.